It's a Wednesday on the Rick Corey Sports Special. The guy in the red shirt with the fresh haircut there is Bill Blankenship, the head football coach of the Owasso Rams. Week 0 in the books. This brought to you by Tulsa Accident Care Center. See our car right there. Our buddy Jared, who's on the Owasso broadcast, as a matter of fact, is helping to bring this to us. I'll tell you more about them as we go along. All right. Bixby's really good. That's a very, very good football team. We all knew that going in. Your guys, though, had a lot of superlatives too. You've had a chance now to look at the tape, digest this. You have initial thoughts when the game's first over. Has that changed any? How are you feeling right now?
Well, I will just tell you that I think you hit a couple of important parts. Bigsby's a very good football team. I think we're going to be a good football team. Um, One of the things I talked to our players about is that we were in almost exactly the same position Bigsby in this time a year ago. And that, they were playing a lot of new players. Rick, we started 9 new players on defense on Thursday. We started 4 new offensive linemen, and that's not an excuse. That's just the reality of our guys in a tough situation. And we did not execute at a high level. We had a lot of pre-snap penalties that are on us. Some things that help put our offense behind the 8 ball because we have more starters back on offense than we do on defense. And yet we still drove down and had a chance to score and didn't finish the drive on the opening drive. Actually converted on 3 big third down conversions on that first drive to get the ball going in the right place and had a chance, had it in our hands in the end zone. So we didn't play as well as we can, but that's what happens when you play a really good team. I think Bigsby executed exceptionally well. They're a physically dominant, gifted team, and they play with great confidence. And once that snowball started rolling in the first and second quarter, we had a hard time getting in the front of it. We had a few moments that we caught a little fire and began to see some things that could be different. And you know, we just have to go back to work. And I'm excited about this team. I'm excited about how they responded.
Yeah, you got to turn those little kindles into big fires. But the good
Yep.
thing is you can show them that on film and they were there. They know that it's there. And when you talk about Bixby, because I was trying to think of a way to describe them too, and I finally came up with it. They're like a really good Army team.
Hmm.
They are relentless. They're physical. They don't do anything terribly fancy, but everything they do is with such precision and such continued focus and emotion and effort that they grind on people. Now,
Yeah.
sometimes with really good skilled people, you can take advantage of that. And you have some of those. You had over 400 yards total offense, which is a really good thing.
Well, and again, tip your hat to those guys. They're very well coached. Their coaching staff has been, for the most part, intact for a long time as far as the coordinators were concerned. Their system, their kids believe in it. They've had a lot of success, and success breeds success. I think we're really close. I think we had a fabulous year to build on, but we have a bunch of new players. Uh, Maybe not new players, but certainly new starters. And it's just a different level of intensity when you're now the guy and not just one of the guys.
Yep.
And so we're having to rally behind a group of seniors that I think are going to be really special. And I don't know. I love the way we've responded. We've had a good couple of days of practice that were exceptionally intense and focused, and I think we're on the right track. But that's why we play them on Fridays.
Well, and you said, last week that for many of these kids, the Rams on the side of the helmet are important, just like it is for kids at their school. So those young men who have been a part of great success, even if they weren't the first guy out there, want to mimic that. They want to see that, and they understand how that can work. So that's got to be an advantage for you in practice, right?
It is, and I think that that's the best thing we have going for us is that we have players that have played at a high level that they've got enough games under their belt that they are like, here's how we do it. This is where we got to go. follow me.
And you're going to have some of those. You got, obviously your quarterback is one of those guys. When you looked at film, who else jumped out at you?
Well, Julius Wilson had a really good, strong physical game at wide receiver, as did Tay Bethel. Those two guys played like veterans. They did really well. Some under the radar or off the radar guys. Christian Turner, one of our D linemen, that's in his first start, really had a very good game. Ran to the ball extremely well. Was very twitchy. Made himself more difficult to block. We just got to get more guys playing at that high level. Ryder Karn was an outside linebacker in his first start, played very well. So we've got some things happening. I like to mention our kicker. Juan Razo was a young man that was playing in his first football game, actually. He's an outstanding soccer player. And Juan came in and actually was 3 for 3 on his PATs and also kicked 2 in the end zone. Probably would have done more if I hadn't overcoached it and tried a sky kick. So I think Juan's going to be really good. I was very proud of him coming off the sideline and into his first game, at Chapman Stadium and having such a good day.
Those are fun eyes to look at. Sometimes they get a little big, but they're still fun eyes to look at, aren't they? Your offensive line, you'd lost so many really good players there, and you still got a really big group there, but you rushed for over 200 yards. How were your assessment how they played?
Fits and starts. The biggest thing that we struggled with early was just being a little too geeked up. And so we had several false starts. We didn't react very well to the Bigsby shifting of their line and their movement created movement, and we didn't adapt very well to it. And I think we will. We've done a much better job. Our coaches have taken responsibility for it, and we're going to be much better. But those are just where you have to get snaps in a game to be able to have seen things and been a part of it. And I think we'll be a better. We actually protected well in the game. That was a pleasant surprise. We ran the ball well at times, but we struggled to run it in the first and second quarter, early in the second quarter, and then we started putting together some things. And Jay Hall got loose some later on in the game.
Yeah, that's one of the things that I like the best is you didn't see any give up, you didn't see any quit, you didn't see any slow down in your guys. When they had opportunities late, they took those opportunities, and those to me are very important moments. It's very easy to get over the sidelines and just kind of oof. And they didn't. I thought they hung in there.
We did. We need to do it better, and I think we need to feel a little more intensity and a little more accountability, and we're going to. I've coached long enough to know what it looks like when you're not doing it well and when you respond. I'm talking about responding to failure.
Sure.
We're all going to fail. Okay. It's just, we don't like it. Nobody likes it. We sure don't like it when it's a failure on the scoreboard like it was last week. But, they're having to deal with the same thing in Austin, Texas, and Clemson, South Carolina, and South Bend, Indiana, and, a whole bunch of, when you play good teams at the start of the year, somebody's going to wind up on the losing side of the scoreboard. And how you respond to that is such a cliche, but it tells you a lot about the kind of team you're going to be. You can either be like all the social media experts that are absolutely sure that Alabama will never win another game, and that Dabo should be fired, and that Owasso is going to be terrible. Or we can wait and see how we respond this week, and the week after that, and the week after that.
Social media and expert together is an oxymoron, my friend.
No doubt.
Leave it at that. I will say, though, right now, Steve Sarkisian may be willing to switch quarterbacks with you for a game. Didn't go very well for Arch, although I'm sure it will. I want to get to it not becoming any easier in a minute because Jenks is coming to your house, but I want to remind everybody about Tulsa Accident Care Center and Jared, who I said is in the booth there for Owasso. First of all, it's important for you to know that there's no upfront cost. There is absolutely no out-of-pocket cost when you go to Tulsa Accident Care Center. Now, what's this for? You see our Tulsa Accident Care Center car. This is for car accidents and your injuries, not your cars, yours. They're everything in one place. No out-of-pocket costs. MRIs, CTs, imaging, ultrasound, medications, physical therapy, doctors in one place. rather than leaving. Imagine if you put tires in your car and you had to go buy the tires one place, you had to go put the air somewhere else, you had to go buy the rims somewhere else, and oh, by the way, you had to end up in one place to put it all in there. That's silly. At Tulsa Accident Care Center, you do it all in one place. And they are in Tulsa, they are in Broken Arrow, and they're in Owasso. One number, which is easy to remember, of course, 918, then 888 8080. That's it. 888 8080. I don't want you to have a car accident. If you do, one stop. That's Tulsa Accident Car Center. All right. Jinx comes to town. Not that you're not familiar with them, obviously, in great games. But for a team who wants to get better, here's another really good opportunity. They were impressive against Santa Fe. I haven't seen much of the film. What have you seen?
Well, you already called it. They dominated Santa Fe from start to finish. Some of the part that you see is not a surprise. You expect KD Jones to be outstanding, and he was. They pumped him the ball as they should. He's the playmaker. He's the one that the offense runs through, and they played really well. Defensively, they shut Santa Fe down completely and dominated. Coach Gaylor has always had tremendous defenses as long as he's been around. He's in his first go as the head coach here. I think some people are lost. It's not his first head coaching gig, right, but first time back in Jinx. And so he's managing, and that was a great win for them to get for his opening night. And, so I know they're coming in with a lot of new faces. They're a lot in the same boat. We both had a real knockdown. What was it? A three overtime game in the semifinals that was maybe as good as any game. And I was just standing over on the sideline watching it. What a blast. But there are a lot of new faces on both sides of the field. Now, a lot of the veterans, just like KD is here, we've got some of ours as well. And so you've got a little bit of the old and a little bit of the new, but we both have, I believe, different personalities on our team now than we were this time in December or November last year. So
Yeah.
It's going to be curious to see how we match up and how we face one another. And but the Jinx Trojans are exactly who they've been in the past. They're going to be all we want and going to be extremely well coached and a lot of talent.
You mentioned Gaylor, of course, he's still running things defensively, new offensive coordinator. But when you've got Batman, got KD, you don't really change an awful lot, do you, offensively? So I ask you, hey, how's it different with the coordinator? Well, you still give that dude the ball.
Right. Yeah, I think it starts with that for sure. I think there'll definitely be some different personalities in terms of how they spread it out and throw the ball and do some things also with that. But you don't have to have a doctoral degree to figure out you probably need the ball to be touched by number two several times a game. And so we know that's the key to the offense, and it's going to run through him.
It's going to be comfortable being at your place too, though. And then, I mean, it's going to be nice, and you're going to have a ton of fans out there. A lot of people are going to be there. And for your kids, I would think, and not that H.A. Chapman's far away, and that was a really cool experience with 20,000 people out there, but being home helps.
Well, there's a comfort level of knowing where you are in and out of your own locker room. The nuances of the stadium. The nuances of the turf. All those kind of things. I don't know that it makes a whole lot of difference, but if you let me choose, we would always rather play at home, and we'll defend anytime.
All right. If I were to say, if from game one to game two, the old axiom, you always get better, the most better from game. That's probably bad English. Game one to game two.
Yeah.
What do you want to see really improve?
Well, we got to clean up our self-inflicted wounds. Winning is hard enough, but you can't. The first thing we've got to do is avoid losing. And you do that by not having the self-inflicted pre-snap penalties, goofy penalties, things that we can control. We won't play without penalties, and I understand that, but we want them to be hustle penalties. We want them to be things that where we're working hard and doing all that, and we're not just giving away 5 yards at a time, letting people have a head start on the series. So I think that's number one. Number two, we've got to bounce back and really play with confidence. And I'm talking about the players that have played. So we need our big guns to play with confidence. And then I think they'll bring our lesser experienced players with them. And I think that's a huge part, is to see yourself as leaders and to say, it's now my time and these guys are going with us.
The cool thing is Coach Whisper used to say you're 7 days from humility, but you're also 7 days from another celebration.
Isn't
And
that the
that
truth? Yeah,
opportunity is why we all go out there every day, right?
100%. That you're exactly right, Rick.
All right. Well, be careful around that stadium. It's going to be crowded. Take care. We'll visit again next week.
Think it's going to be good weather, sounds like, and stadium will be here. So, man, excited to see everybody out on Friday night.